Nestled in the heart of North Dakota lies a 32-mile stretch of road unlike any other, the Enchanted Highway. This open-air gallery features some of the world's largest scrap metal sculptures, each telling a story of creativity, community, and one man's dream. From classic car havens to bizarre roadside wonders, we're on a mission seeking unique stories and history behind the world's best hidden automotive gems. Get ready for a journey like no other as we hit the road to discover what makes American car culture so legendary. Buckle up, Ride and Seek starts now. In 1989, Gary Greff, a former school principal from the small town of Regent, noticed his hometown was fading. Determined to revive it, he envisioned a series of colossal sculptures to draw travelers off of Interstate 94 and into Regent.
I was in education for 18 years. I was a junior high teacher and junior high principal. And in 1989, I was looking for a different principal job. I then came home and I saw the town was dying. I thought, okay, if somebody doesn't do something, these small towns are dead. So at the same year I came home was the same year they paved the road from Interstate to Regent. In Interstate, there's 1.2 million or 1.5 million people travel that road. How can I bring a percentage of that down into Regent? Then it dawned on me, the ranchers and farmers of the Midwest are good at welding. But I thought no one's going to drive 30 miles for normal sculptures, but would they drive for the world's largest? Never laid a bead of weld in my life, never had an art class. The farmers and ranchers, they taught me how to weld.
I moved to North Dakota 11 and a half years ago, and that first fall, friends of mine brought me hunting down here, and I met Gary in the castle, and been coming down ever since. What really sticks with me about Gary is, 36 years he's been at it, and I see perseverance, and I see vision.
I don't know of anybody that works any harder. If this guy isn't checking people into the Enchanted Castle and serving them drinks and meals in the medieval tavern, or out welding on one of our sculptures, or even down at the gift shop serving ice cream, and his enthusiasm for bringing people to our area is pretty darn infectious.
The fading of Regent, North Dakota was primarily due to rural depopulation and economic decline, which are common challenges for many small towns across the Midwest.
As a kid, you didn't realize that town was dying. Everything was vibrant. When I was growing up, there was roughly, the average farm was 2,000 acres. Okay, average farm now is between 10 and 12,000 acres. The big farm is 40,000, 50,000 acres. You've lost now 20, 30 farmers. When that loss of people, the stores are going to lose, the gas stations are going to lose. So as a result, we went down to no cafe, we went down to one store, we went down to, everything declines. When your town declines and places to work, where are the youth going to go? Most families had between 8 and 10 kids. So you take 8 kids, only one of them can farm. So what do the other 7 kids do? Go to college, figure out what they're going to do? What kind of business is there in a town that has declined to little or nothing? The kids are going to leave. There's nothing for them to stay here and raise a family with.
I can tell you that at one time, this town was booming. The railroad came in, the farmers and ranchers came, our cities evolved and grew. In the last 10 years, we've seen a number of our businesses have closed. We've lost a lot of population, and we are truly hoping to reinvigorate our small rural communities.
But not without its challenges. Without minimal funding and no major sponsorships, Greff used what was available and affordable. Much of the material was donated by local residents, farmers, and nearby industries who had unused or discarded metal laying around. Greff sourced additional parts from scrapyards and rural auctions, often repurposing unexpected items like grain bins or water tanks.
The challenges of starting was not knowing how to weld didn't bother me. I figured that I can do. If you put your mind to it, you can do most anything. The big thing was trying to get the land. I had to convince landowners that they would donate or lease me a piece of land to put a sculpture on. I figured I was going to do a piece of a sculpture every 3 miles. That was the first hurdle I had to get over. I was a teacher. I didn't have a lot of money stuck aside. How was I going to fund? Nobody gives you free metal. City council basically said, we'll give you $100, or back then, that's 37 years ago, $100 was quite a bit of money. Then I went and applied for grants. I mean, basically, you're out here in North Dakota, you're not high on the list of grant people to get grants. I found that out real quick. I gave up teaching. I didn't have money in the savings. How was I going to live? So I had milk and bread, one meal a day, and I welded. All I did was weld.
Greff's vision for the Enchanted Highway was a creative attempt to combat this decline by drawing tourism back into the community. Greff embarked on his ambitious project. In 1991, the Tin Family, a cheerful trio made from scrap metal, telephone poles, and oil tanks, became the first installation.
I thought, what made our country the way it is? It's family. That's why the Tin Family was my very first one. It stresses a mother, father, little boy. People say, well, where's the little girl? I said, I left that out on purpose. The girl and the pet have to be added by whoever takes over after me. Every sculpture, I leave something out to be added later, so always has life. From there, I thought, okay, what do I do next? North Dakota claims Teddy Roosevelt as their own. So that's when I did a silhouette of Teddy Roosevelt on the riding horse. You drive down the road and all you do is hit pheasants. At that time, there was millions of pheasants. I did the pheasant on the prairie, and from there I went and I did the grasshoppers. My grandfather, when I was growing up, he told me that there was a time in the 30s, the grasshoppers were so thick, they ate all my crops, they ate everything. I had to figure out a way to feed my family that I wasn't going to let that little insect run me out. So that, to me, was a little part of history. From that point, I went to the deer crossing, geese in flight. My aunt had a thing hanging on the wall that showed geese flying. That would look good, built up to 110 feet tall. And then I finally went to Fisherman's Dream. Everybody likes fishing. Let's do Fisherman's Dream.
I think what struck me most about the sculptures initially was just the enormity. How did he put this? How does this come together? What is this made of? Where did this piece of metal come from? Leads me down to Region North Dakota.
The Enchanted Highway significantly boosted tourism for Region North Dakota. Though exact visitor counts are not consistently tracked, some estimates suggest that Regent receives 20,000 to 40,000 visitors per year due to the Enchanted Highway. Before the sculptures, Regent had very little tourist traffic. Small businesses in Regent have benefited from souvenir sales, dining, and lodging. The town, once facing economic collapse, has seen signs of stabilization due to the tourist draw.
I think the one thing that we do lose sight of is the value of time. Everybody's like, how much is a gallon of gas? How much is a hotel room? How much is our meal? How much is this? How much is my swag that I'm buying at the gift shop? Looking back, and even from my childhood, that's what I remember the most.
To me, my seeing the dream come to life is and my feeling it hasn't come to life yet. It's like a kid growing up. I've had families that have come down. Family will say, I was down here when I was 3 years old. Now I'm bringing my family down because I thought it was worth it. To me, that is why I feel it cannot die when I die. If Gary Greff, who never laid a bead a weld in my life, a DF student, and he can create this, then to me, it gives them hope. It gives them a reason to drive, a reason to see the Enchanted Highway.
The Enchanted Highway stands as a beacon of hope, creativity, and the enduring spirit of small-town America. It's a journey where art meets ambition, and dreams take the shape of towering metal giants. North Dakota is a beautiful place to visit, but make sure you do your proper planning before you hit the road. This includes calling CarShield to make sure you have help against an emergency breakdown.